All right, so now that I'm done testing the Adidas Dame 6, it's time to put these in their rightful place.
I'm all in. Brody on the line, I'm tapping in. Got out here pulling the strings for me. A girl on the line, she feeling me. Preoccupied by the motivation. Put in the time, pay the entry fee. Bro on the rise, yeah, he kinda nice. Inside of my mind, no one's real as me. Lately, life has been gorgeous. Wake up to clear, my eyes have recorded. Praise up to God, I ain't chasing no swinging and miss, got me hitting these hits. I get it, orders, don't get it distorted. Disconnected, I've been cordless, I've been cordial, I've been exploring. I got a whole lot, but somehow I want more of it. Yeah.
All right, so obviously, as you can tell by that intro, I am not very fond of the Dame 6. And that's particularly disappointing for myself because Damian Lillard is one of my favorite players in the league, probably actually my favorite player in the league. And usually his shoes are pretty good, both on and off of the floor. But this year, that's not the case. Now that doesn't mean that this shoe is complete trash. I mean, I know I threw them in the trash can and I feel like that's where they belong, but there are some things that I do like about these. However, the things that I do like about them are overshadowed by the things I don't like about them, because the things I don't like about them really kind of ruined the whole experience. The first big problem that I have with the Dame 6 is actually a big one. It's the traction. Now, the outsole uses a full-length herringbone pattern that in theory should work, but in practice, it just doesn't. The traction is truly awful on these guys, and if you play on anything other than a completely clean, well-maintained floor, you're gonna feel like you're playing in mud with these on. And that is something that could really affect your game, because not only does bad traction make you slip and slide and all that stuff is bad, but what bad traction doesn't allow you to do is stop when you wanna stop and put your foot or plant your foot where you wanna plant it. And that means you can't pull off any of your moves with confidence, and you just feel like a worse basketball player. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but I truly felt this way, guys. When I was wearing a Dame 6, I felt like a worse basketball player with diminished skills. I'm hesitant to say that the traction's problems are caused by the fact that this particular colorway uses a translucent rubber outsole, because in the past, I've had other sneakers with translucent rubber outsoles that play extremely well, the New Balance Omnis being the most recent example of that. But this particular rubber compound picks up a lot of dust, so be prepared to wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe some more. And all that wiping, get this, will be for one, maybe two decent possessions of average traction at best. I mean, no matter what way you cut it, the traction on these is truly disappointing. And the most confusing part about all this is the outsole is super squeaky. I mean, listen to this. Yeah, usually that's a good sign of traction, but with these, it is not. Now, there are some colorways available that have a full solid rubber outsole, and it is possible that those colorways do perform better. However, at the time of this recording, those colorways are lame and people aren't gonna wanna pick those up. People are gonna wanna pick something up like the Ruthless colorway that I have here in front of me. And also, this Ruthless colorway was the launch colorway that Adidas launched the Dame 6 with. So this was mine, as well as many other people's first impression of the shoe. My first impression of the shoe is the traction kind of ruins the whole thing. I mean, once the traction is bad, the rest of the shoe doesn't really matter. However, that is not all. The fit of the Dame 6 is also something that you're gonna find very, very disappointing. Now, usually with Adidas, I go down half a size, and that's exactly what I did here with the Dame 6. And the base fit, meaning the width and the length of the shoe, is fine. I have no problems with it whatsoever. The problem is the materials don't really wrap around your foot for a snug one-to-one fit. Now, this is certainly better than having a fit that is pinching or suffocating your foot in all the wrong ways, but due to the fact that you already feel like you're playing in mud, no thanks to the atrocious traction, the sloppy fit only adds to the overall sluggish feel of the Dame 6. And it really comes down to the use of materials, because from my eye, there is enough here design-wise that should provide a lockdown fit. There's multiple eyelets on both the lateral and medial side that are attached to the midsole for a flywire type effect. There's an internal heel cup, and there's even some nice padding on the inside of the collar, which helps keep your ankle in place comfortably. So with all that being said, what's the issue? Well, the answer is refinement. Those flywire straps that double as eyelets, these are actually stitched onto the upper, which basically renders them useless since it takes away any tensile strength that they might have since they can't move at all. They're just stuck. I mean, they're frozen to this level of tightness that you can't modify. No matter what you do, no matter how tight you lace these up, these are stuck into place. So it doesn't really add anything to lock your foot or wrap your foot into place. But the one thing you could say about them is it does add a little extra lateral support that wouldn't be there without them. So at least there's that. But the base function of it to add tightness to the lacing system, it just simply doesn't work. The heel cup is also something that I thought was very disappointing with the overall support and fit. It's a really small heel cup and it's pretty flimsy as well, so it doesn't really do anything to lock your foot into place. It really struggles in that respect. So that on top of the fact that you have a poor fit in the forefoot and the midfoot, you could really start to see that the Dame 6 is just a really sloppy experience with the fit. I mean, you could say that wide footers could enjoy this more relaxed fit because the midfoot is fairly spacious and not as narrow as other models on the market. But even for someone like myself who has a slightly wider foot, I thought the fit on these was just not responsive enough and honestly pretty distracting out there on the court. All right, so those are the things that I don't like about the Dame 6, but what about the things that I do like about them? Or thing. Lifestrike foam is introduced into the Damian Lillard signature line, and while that was kind of a confusing move since Bounce, what Adidas has been using since the Dame 2, is almost universally loved, the Lifestrike foam does work well here, and it's perfect for a guard-friendly shoe like the Dame 6 since it's got a good balance of responsiveness and impact protection. Even though it may lack the bounce that Bounce has, it's still a solid setup, and most people won't even notice the difference, which is a good thing, I guess. Whatever Adidas needs to do to keep the Damian Lillard signature line on the cheaper end of the price spectrum, I'm okay with that, even if it means replacing the Bounce foam for a less versatile but still usable Lifestrike setup. The materials, on the other hand, these are just cheap to be cheap. The upper is made up of a variety of meshes which are objectively soft, so when you slip your foot in the Dame 6, it does feel nice. They're soft, they're comfortable, but the problem is the materials aren't durable whatsoever, despite some synthetic suede overlays outlining the lateral upper as well as the top of the toe box. Now, while my pair did hold up pretty well, I only played with these indoors, and I think if you were to use these in any capacity outdoors, the materials would just fall apart. So I wouldn't recommend using these on the blacktop. If you're using them indoors, that's fine, but anything else, the materials are just not gonna hold up very well. But the good news is, I actually like how these look. The Dame 6 is a decent looking sneaker. I really like the visual appeal. It has some layers to it with a variety of materials, and I just like the novelty of having small hits of raw materials, even though they're actually synthetics. And I also like the two-tone look of this ruthless colorway. There's just something about it that I really like. So good on Adidas for making a visually appealing model. But as we all know, looks aren't everything, and the Dame 6 is the perfect case study for that. You can't just make a shoe that looks good, Adidas. It actually has to play good as well. I know there's that saying, I say it all the time, look good, play good. But you can only say that when the shoe looks good and also plays good. And with the Dame 6, the best thing I could say about them is they look good, but that's all up to personal preference. I could also say that the Lifestrike foam, it worked well, it was decent, I did enjoy that, but the rest of the shoe is just average at best, with some features like the traction actually being legitimately bad. So just based on the traction alone, the Dame 6 should be a hard pass for you. You'd be much better off buying a pair of Don issue number 1s for a little bit less. So at the end of the day, my verdict on the Dame 6 is I wouldn't spend $1 on Dame Dollar's newest signature shoe. I know that's harsh, but it's the truth, baby. All right, so there you guys have it. That was a performance review for the Adidas Dame 6. If this review helped you out, drop this video a like. It helps me out a lot. And subscribe to the channel for more performance reviews just like this. My name is Jaren. It's been great having you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.